Welcome to our deep dive, everyone. Get ready, because we're about to unlock some super cool English vocabulary. The kind that'll make you sound like a natural in everyday conversations.
I'm all about finding those perfect phrases that just roll off the tongue. It can really boost your fluency and confidence.
Right. And the best part is, so many of these phrases are already part of our daily lives. We just don't always realize it. Like, imagine missing out on those concert tickets you really wanted. What a shame. See? Simple, but it hits the spot.
Totally. Those little everyday expressions are like the building blocks of fluent conversation.
Okay, picture this. Your friend asks you something and you just have no idea. I haven't got a clue. It's casual, honest, and keeps things moving.
I love that one. Though maybe not the best choice for your boss, unless you're on super good terms.
Huh. Good point. Context is key.
Absolutely. The right words at the right time can make all the difference.
All right, here's a classic for all the storytellers out there. You're mid-tale and realize you've gone off on a tangent. To cut a long story short, it's like a magic phrase to get you back on track.
So true. And it shows you respect your listener's time, which is always a good thing.
Now let's shift gears to the workplace. You see that last donut in the break room? And you're practically drooling. Mind if I grab the last one? Polite, professional, no donut drama.
Those subtle cues can really smooth things over in a professional setting.
And what about when your calendar is bursting at the seams? I've got back-to-back meetings today. Perfectly sums up that swamped feeling.
It's almost become a badge of honor, hasn't it? The busier, the better.
It is a bit of a strange phenomenon, but hey, at least we have the vocabulary to describe it.
Right. Now, if you're really buried in work, try this one. I'm up to my ears in, whatever it is that's consuming your time. It paints a pretty vivid picture.
Love it. Those expressions that really pack a punch.
Me too. They add so much flavor to our conversations.
Okay, imagine bumping into someone you know, but you're in a rush. Nice to bump into you. It's like a quick acknowledgement while subtly hinting you need to keep moving.
That blend of politeness and efficiency is a skill in itself.
For sure. And if you actually have time to chat, there's always the good old, "What have you been up to?" It's a friendly way to show interest and get things rolling.
It's simple, but it works wonders. Opening that space for them to share is key to building connections.
True, but let's be real. Sometimes we need a graceful escape route. That's where "I'm a bit pressed for time" or "I've already taken so much of your time" come in handy.
Those are perfect examples of setting boundaries politely. It's an art form.
It really is, and
Yeah.
it saves us from those awkward, trapped in a conversation moments.
Okay, get this. The top 100 words in English make up like half of all the language we use every day.
No way. That's incredible. Talk about efficiency.
It's the Pareto principle in action, the 80-20 rule. Applies to so much in life, including language. A small number of words, huge impact.
So by focusing on the most frequent words, we're essentially fast-tracking our fluency.
Exactly. And from there, you can build your vocabulary strategically.
Love those work smarter, not harder approaches. Speaking of which, I had a light bulb moment when I realized learning antonyms, opposites, could basically double your vocabulary.
That is brilliant, because understanding opposites adds so much depth to your comprehension. You can express yourself with more nuance.
Like happy, sad, big, small, optimistic, pessimistic. It's like a 2-for-1 deal. And as you level up, the antonyms become more complex and fascinating.
Right. Skeptical versus credulous, for example. Such subtle differences in how we approach belief and trust. Mastering those pairs takes your expression to a whole new level.
It's like having this whole palette of words to paint a more detailed picture with.
Now let's tackle something that often trips up English learners. Phrasal verbs.
I know, right? They can be a bit tricky.
But they're absolutely crucial for sounding natural and fluent.
The key is listing them in context. So how about a story? Imagine starting your first job.
Oh, the excitement.
You're a bit nervous, but ready to make a good impression. So you show up early on day one.
Smart move. Show up, meaning to arrive right.
You got it. And you quickly figure out the coffee machine.
Got to keep those colleagues caffeinated.
Exactly. Now, as you're getting on with your work, meaning making progress, you run into your boss in the hallway.
Run into, to meet unexpectedly. Those phrasal verbs are so natural in a story.
They blend right in. And stories are such a great way to make them stick.
Totally. Less intimidating, more relatable.
Ready for round 2 of phrasal verbs. Let's fast forward in our story. You've been working hard, and you're ready to take on more responsibility.
Take on, meaning to accept a challenge.
And you decide to put forward a proposal for a new project.
Bold move.
Your boss is impressed and tells you to go ahead with it.
Amazing. So what happens next?
Well, you need to come up with a creative solution to a problem.
The classic brainstorming session.
And you can count on your team to help.
Teamwork is everything. Did you pull it off?
We'll have to find out in part 2 of our deep dive.
All right, picking up where we left off. That new project, remember, you aced it, got the green light, but now you got to come up with that creative solution.
Right. Come up with being the key phrase here. We got to invent something. But luckily, I know I can count on my amazing team.
Count on, meaning to rely on, yes.
Okay.
Those phrasal verbs are sneaky little things.
Yeah. So I decided to, reach out to my colleagues, get those brainstorming juices flowing.
Excellent strategy. Collaboration is magic.
It really is. So we're all together, throwing ideas around, bouncing them off each other. You know how it is.
I can picture it perfectly. That back and forth, it's how the best ideas are born.
And guess what? We totally hit upon a brilliant solution.
No way. You guys are rock stars. What was it?
That's for another time. But we put together a solid plan.
Put together, you mean like assembled, organized, all that?
Precisely. And then the big moment, we presented it to the boss.
Drum roll, please.
Total success.
Yeah.
I mean, we really pulled it off.
Pulled it off, meaning you succeeded, yeah.
Big time. Project was a smash hit. And guess what else?
Don't tell me. Promotion.
You got it. Ended up with a fancy new title and everything.
Ended up, like, as a result of all this amazing work. See, phrasal verbs can take you places. Literally.
They really can.
Yeah.
But let's switch gears a bit. Ready for a vocabulary power-up, some advanced words and phrases to really take your English to the next level.
Always. Hit me with your best shot.
Okay, how about at face value? Accepting something without overthinking it.
Right, like not digging too deep, taking it as it is. Don't believe everything you see on social media at face value, right?
Exactly. Social media can be tricky. Okay, another one. Have a crack at something.
Ooh, I like that one. To give it a try, yeah. I've never baked a souffle, but I'm willing to have a crack at it.
See, you're a natural. And speaking of trying new things, ever burned the midnight oil?
Who hasn't? Those late nights studying or working, gotta get it done. Burn the midnight oil finishing that presentation. Classic.
It really paints a picture, doesn't it? Okay, let's talk well-being. To strike a balance, finding that sweet spot in life.
So important. Work-life balance, all that good stuff. Gotta strike a balance or you'll burn out.
Truth. And when you need a release, to let off some steam.
Ah, yes. Finding healthy ways to deal with stress. Going for a run to let off steam after a tough day feels good just saying it.
Doesn't it? And when things get rough, count your blessings. Remember all the good stuff.
Gratitude. Always a good reminder.
Okay, now for the fun part. Describing people. Have you ever heard the expression to stick one's neck out?
Ooh, that's a good one. Taking a risk, even if it might backfire. She stuck her neck out to defend her colleague. Brave.
It is. Now, how about knee-jerk reaction?
Oh, I know that one. An instant reaction without thinking it through. My knee-jerk reaction was to say no, but I'm glad I took a moment to consider it.
It happens. Okay, what about those people who get hung up on the tiniest details? Splitting hairs, right?
Let's not split hairs over this. It's about focusing on the big picture.
Absolutely. And in any group, you have that unspoken hierarchy, the pecking order.
Fascinating, isn't it? How those dynamics play out. You can see the pecking order in any meeting.
So true. Okay, some personality descriptors. How would you describe someone who's really clever and insightful, especially about business?
Shrewd, perhaps. He's a shrewd businessman, always knows how to make a profit.
Spot on. And someone who's super stubborn.
Oh, obstinate. Once they've made up their mind, they're completely obstinate.
I know the type. And how about someone who's always calm and peaceful no matter what?
Placid. She has such a placid nature, nothing seems to faze her.
Okay, let's dive into some work-related vocabulary, the advanced stuff. Ever had to pull some strings to get something done?
Who hasn't? Sometimes you got to use those connections. Had to pull some strings to get that project approved. It's a jungle out there.
It is. And when a scandal breaks and the media goes crazy, they're having a field day, right?
Oh, absolutely. Loving all the drama. The tabloids are having a field day with this celebrity divorce.
And if you're privy to some confidential info.
Ah, the insider knowledge. I was privy to the merger discussions. Top secret.
Sometimes you need to put a project on the back burner.
Postpone it for a bit. That marketing campaign is on the back burner until we hire a new manager.
And then you have those cushy Jobs, easy peasy.
He landed a cushy job at a tech startup. Must be nice.
Right. And when you're starting out, it's all about getting your foot in the door.
That first opportunity. Internships are a great way to get your foot in the door.
So true. But sadly, some businesses go belly up.
Fail completely. Tough world out there. That bookstore went belly up after Amazon took over.
It's a shame. But speaking of beautiful things, let's talk about some beautiful English words, ones that are just a joy to use.
Oh, I love this part. Language can be so poetic.
Like ethereal, something delicate, light, otherworldly.
The music had an ethereal quality that transported me to another realm.
Beautiful. What about epiphany?
That aha moment, the sudden realization. I had an epiphany about my career path, life-changing.
Sometimes we have to face darker emotions, like angst, that deep worry, unease.
Teenage angst. The struggle is real. We've all been there.
Then you have euphoria, that pure joy and excitement.
Winning the lottery would definitely lead to euphoria. Who wouldn't be ecstatic?
To cherish something, to hold it dear.
I cherish the memories of my travels. Those are the best souvenirs.
What about the concept of eternity?
Mind-blowing, isn't it? Timeless, forever. The universe seems to stretch into eternity.
And quintessence, the purest example of something.
She's the quintessence of grace and style, the ultimate embodiment.
Pristine, perfectly clean and untouched.
That pristine white sand beach. Paradise.
Okay, time to get a bit sneaky.
Surreptitiously.
Done in secret. He surreptitiously slipped the note into her hand.
Dulcet. Sweet and pleasing to the ear.
The dulcet tones of a cello. Soothing.
And lastly, docile. Gentle and obedient.
The once wild dog became docile after training.
All right, ready for some fun with slang? Let's talk rhyming reduplication. Oh, this is where things get interesting.
It's this cool thing where we repeat a word with a slight change, often adding a W sound.
Like holy moly, for surprise.
Exactly. And when you want to get to the nitty-gritty,
The essential details. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this problem.
and things that are jumbled and messy, higgledy-piggledy.
Love that one. So chaotic. My desk is in a higgledy-piggledy state.
And the best of the best, the bee's knees.
So whimsical. That pie was the bee's knees.
And a casual way to say, okay, okie dokie.
Simple but effective. Okie dokie sounds good to me.
The best part is, you can invent your own. Want to emphasize something fancy? Fancy schmancy.
Or if you're feeling skeptical, plan schmans. Love it.
It's all about adding personality to your language. But for now, let's take a little detour. Let's explore the human body.
Ooh, I'm game. A little anatomy lesson.
Starting at the top, the forehead. That smooth area above your eyebrows.
And those flat areas on the side. Those are your temples.
Feel that bump at the back of your head. That's your occipital bone. And the skin that covers it all. The scalp.
Now for the eyes. The colored part is the iris. And that black dot in the middle, that's the pupil.
The white part. The sclera. And of course we have eyelids and eyelashes to protect those peepers.
Don't forget the eyebrows, keeping that sweat out of your eyes.
Now down to the mouth. The roof of your mouth is the palate. And that little dangly thing in the back. The uvula.
And those sensitive spots on your nose, the nostrils.
The back of your neck. The nape. And that bump at the front. The Adam's apple.
Those bones connecting your shoulders to your breastbone. Your clavicles or collarbones.
Now for the torso. That flat bone in your chest, the sternum, and those muscles on your sides, the obliques.
And that little dip in the middle of your belly, your navel, or belly button.
Now let's flip around to the back. That bony structure is your spine, or backbone.
Made up of little bones called vertebrae, right? And divided into regions, the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacrum, and coccyx.
Moving on to the arms. The muscles at the front are your biceps, and at the back, your triceps.
Lower arm is the forearm, and the wrist is made up of carpals.
Inside of your hand is the palm, and those bendy joints on your fingers, the knuckles.
And don't forget the fingernails.
Now for the legs. Upper leg is the thigh, and the muscles at the front are the quadriceps.
The ones at the back, the hamstrings. And that round bone at your knee, the patella or kneecap.
Lower leg has two bones, the tibia at the front and the fibula at the back.
And that big muscle at the back of your lower leg, your calf muscle.
Back of the ankle, you'll find the Achilles tendon, and the bottom of your foot is the sole.
Largest bone in your foot is the calcaneus, or heel bone. And your big toe is the hallux.
Now for skin and hair, those little openings in your skin are pores, and the oil-producing glands are sebaceous glands.
Flat brown spots are freckles, raised brown spots are moles, and those marks you're born with are birthmarks.
Each hair grows from a follicle, and a cowlick is that stubborn piece of hair that grows in a different direction.
Wow, that was quite the anatomical tour.
It's amazing how much we take our bodies for granted, isn't it? So many parts working together.
Truly remarkable. But all right, back to those idioms. Ready for another round?
Always. Lay it on me.
Okay, let's talk about happiness. When someone is truly joyful, they're in seventh heaven.
Like on top of the world, right? Pure bliss.
Exactly. And if you're planning a night out, you might paint the town red.
Have some fun, let loose, maybe get a little wild.
And when you're just incredibly thrilled about something.
Over the moon.
I'm over the moon about my new job. Can't contain the excitement.
Or on cloud 9, that feeling of pure euphoria.
Winning the lottery would put me on cloud 9. Who wouldn't be?
And when you're feeling super confident and successful, on top of the world.
Like, you can conquer anything.
Right. And to have an amazing, unforgettable experience, you have a whale of a time. That trip to Italy was a whale of a time, memories for a lifetime.
And those little things that just brighten your day, they make your day.
A simple act of kindness can make someone's day.
Absolutely. And feeling super cheerful and optimistic, you're full of the joys of spring.
Ready to take on anything. And to be completely captivated and enthralled by something, you're in raptures.
I was in raptures over that concert, absolutely blown away.
Okay, let's get a bit more serious for a moment. Idioms related to health.
A topic we should all be familiar with.
Definitely. Now, to kick the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
A bit blunt, but it means to die.
Right. Best used in formal settings. And when a doctor gives you a clean bill of health.
You're in tip-top shape, no worries.
But if someone looks really unwell, they're like death warmed up.
Not a pretty picture. And to be in great physical condition, you're as fit as a fiddle.
Ready to run a marathon.
And when you have to have surgery, you go into the knife.
A common phrase, but not a pleasant experience. And when someone is close to death, we say they have one foot in the grave.
A bit morbid, I know. But to take a break and recharge, you recharge your batteries.
Essential for well-being. Everyone needs some downtime. And when you're feeling totally fine, okay? As right as rain.
Love that one. And full of energy, you're as fresh as a daisy.
Ready to seize the day. But if someone's looking a bit under the weather, pale and sickly.
As pale as a ghost, like they've seen something spooky.
Exactly. And if someone's really thin, we might say they're a bag of bones. Not very nice, but you get the picture.
Okay, let's talk weather idioms. That's a classic conversation starter.
Especially here in the UK. Always talking about the weather.
So true. So if something's happening continuously, non-stop, it's happening round the clock.
Like a 24/7 news channel.
Precisely. And when you're done for the day, you call it a day or call it a night.
Time to clock out and relax.
And that crucial moment when things are put to the test, that's the moment of truth.
Make or break time.
And a really, really long time. We call it donkey's years.
I haven't seen her in donkey's years. Feels like forever.
And something that happens very rarely. Once in a blue moon.
Like finding a 4-leaf clover.
And when something's coming up soon, it's right around the corner.
Can't wait for summer. It's just around the corner.
And if something happens regularly, predictably, it happens like clockwork.
Like the tides.
A close call or a last-minute decision, that goes down to the wire.
Keeps you on the edge of your seat.
And at the very last possible moment. That's at the 11th hour.
Talk about cutting it close.
And just in time to prevent something bad. In the nick of time.
Phew, that was a close one. Okay, let's talk love and relationships.
Ooh, my favorite.
To fall deeply in love, you fall head over heels.
Totally smitten. And someone you adore and cherish, they're the apple of your eye.
Your precious one.
Yeah.
And that young, intense, often fleeting love. Puppy love.
So sweet. And when you get married, you tie the knot.
See, I do. But when a relationship is struggling, we say it's on the rocks.
Hopefully they can smooth things over. And that big moment when you propose, you pop the question.
Down on one knee, ring in hand. So romantic.
And when you have a strong romantic attraction to someone, you have a crush on them.
Those butterflies in your stomach. Okay, now for some idioms with colorful imagery.
These are always fun. A fantastic opportunity. That's a golden opportunity.
Don't miss out. And seeing things in an overly positive way, that's seeing the world through rose-colored glasses.
Ignoring the bad stuff and a situation that's not clear-cut, with no easy answers. That's a gray area.
So complicated. And when you catch someone doing something wrong, you catch them red-handed.
Busted. No escaping that one. And someone who's cowardly, they're yellow-bellied.
No guts at all. And when you get something without any effort, it's handed to you on a silver platter.
Must be nice.
Okay.
Okay, let's go wild. Animal idioms.
I love these. They're so expressive.
Someone who's really enthusiastic and hardworking, that's an eager beaver.
Always going above and beyond.
To face a challenge head-on, you take the bull by the horns.
No hesitation. And to accidentally reveal a secret, you let the cat out of the bag.
Oops. And to do something for ages and ages. You do it until the cows come home.
Practically forever. And when people are getting sick or dying quickly, they're dropping like flies.
A grim situation indeed. But to be patient and wait, you hold your horses.
Slow down, don't rush. And to eat a lot of food, you pig out.
Time for a feast. And to suspect something's wrong, you smell a rat.
Something's not right. And if you're restless and can't sit still, you have ants in your pants.
That fidgety feeling. And when you have more important things to deal with, you have bigger fish to fry.
Priorities, priorities. Okay, let's talk personality idioms.
Time to analyze some characters.
Someone who talks nonstop, a chatterbox.
They just keep going, and someone who's unpredictable and reckless. A loose cannon.
Never know what they'll do next. And someone who spoils everyone's fun, a wet blanket.
Such a bummer. And to brag about yourself, you blow your own trumpet.
Toot toot, look at me. And good, honest, reliable people, they're the salt of the earth.
The best kind of people.
Yeah.
And a friend who's only there when things are good. A fair weather friend.
Not a true friend at all. Someone who can do many things but isn't an expert in any. A jack of all trades.
A versatile person. And someone who worries all the time. A worrywart.
Always anxious about something, and someone who criticizes without any real knowledge. An armchair critic.
All talk, no action. And someone who's independent and follows their own path. A free spirit.
Love those free spirits. All right, time for some numerical idioms.
Let's play with numbers. To dress very elegantly. You dress to the nines.
Looking sharp. And to figure something out using logic, you put 2 and 2 together.
Like a detective. And to be unsure about something, you're in 2 minds.
Can't decide. A typical workday, that's 9 to 5.
The daily grind. And to start over completely, you go back to square one.
Time to rethink things.
Yeah.
Intense questioning or interrogation, that's the 3rd degree.
Under pressure. To be clumsy, especially when dancing. You have 2 left feet.
No rhythm at all. And to be very similar to someone, you're like 2 peas in a pod.
2 of a kind. A short nap, that's 40 winks.
Time for a quick snooze.
Yeah.
And to be the absolute best, you're second to none.
Top of the game. Okay, ready for our final course. Food idioms. Bring on the feast. To earn a living and support your family, you bring home the bacon.
Keeping everyone fed and happy, and your main source of income. That's your bread and butter.
How you pay the bills. An untrustworthy person, the bad egg.
Rotten to the core, the best of the best, the cream of the crop.
The elite group. And to reveal a secret, you spill the beans.
Whoopsie. And something you don't like or enjoy, it's not your cup of tea.
Not my thing. To say something in a short, concise way, you say it in a nutshell.
The quick version. To admit you're wrong and apologize. You eat humble pie.
Swallowing your pride. To be embarrassed or humiliated, you have egg on your face.
Not a good look. And to be in a difficult situation, you're in a pickle.
Things are getting complicated. Well, there you have it, folks. A whole smorgasbord of idioms to spice up your English.
We've covered so much ground today. From everyday phrases to advanced vocabulary and those quirky idioms that make English so unique.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the wonderful world of English. And remember, language learning is a journey, not a destination.
So keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep having fun with it.
And who knows, maybe you'll even invent your own idioms along the way. Until next time, happy learning.